Now this wouldn't really be a problem if they had different difficulty modes. There's no easy mode, there's no medium mode, there's no hard mode. You just get one mode, and that is like the default mode. There's no option to make things easier.
Ah, shit. Here we go again.
What's up, y'all? Hope we're having a great day today. Just vibing out, you know how it is. And today, I have some more therapy for everyone. So today, as the title says, we're going to be taking a look at a pretty unfair take on Elden Ring from a very mysterious channel known as Sacred Hogwash. Now really quick, I just want to throw this out there. I have not played Elden Ring yet, although I am planning to once I have the time. But the arguments in this guy's video are mostly just the same non-arguments I've heard thrown at every other Souls game, or are just outright misinformation. Plus, I have watched a fair bit of Elden Ring streams and gameplay, and the game does look pretty damn good. So I'm not completely misinformed on this topic, so I don't think it'll be that hard to dismantle this guy's video and arguments. Lastly, I just want to add that whoever this guy is, he is most certainly not a gaming channel. I don't usually do homework on a channel, but this guy was just too perplexing to pass up. I mean, it was honestly like a small rabbit hole. He seems to be primarily focused on exposing belief systems and religions, so take that as you will. But the point I'm trying to get across is that, from what I saw, this was the only gaming-related video on his channel. So I'm not too sure if he's a troll, or if the video is just satire, or if it's all just outright stupidity. But, in all honesty, it doesn't really matter to me. They uploaded a dumb take, and so I'm here to roast it. So without further delay, let's dive straight into this incredibly ignorant, stupid, and just outright misinformed Elden Ring review. Let's play this shit.
Hello and welcome back to a new video game review.
Welcome back? Bruh, this is the only gaming video I could find on your channel, so the fuck does that even mean? But legit, I wanted y'all to hear him speak before I mentioned that you can tell he pitched his voice up in post. And in any other videos I saw, he doesn't speak. Just low effort editing with little text cards. So homie is taking anonymity to a whole other level.
So recently I've been playing Elden Ring.
Then why don't you have gameplay to show us instead of just B-roll trailer footage? If you could edit that over commentary, then gameplay isn't really that much harder. So already I'm pressing X to doubt that you even played this game.
And as an avid fan of Dark Souls games and action-adventure games in general, I just had to play this game.
Oh shit, I too am an avid fan of Souls games and would agree. But for a fan of the series, he really doesn't keep that same energy for the rest of this review. Like I said, I have my reasons to doubt he even played the game.
Unfortunately, it's been pretty disappointing so far and very lackluster.
I'd like to know why you think it's quote-unquote disappointing and lackluster.
Unfortunately, it's been pretty disappointing so far and very lackluster. If you're new to Dark Souls games, basically Dark Souls games pride themselves on the gameplay and the challenging gameplay and boss battles and how difficult they're supposed to be. And Elden Ring is no different.
What a confusing way to follow up that statement. Oh, it was disappointing and lackluster. Well, then maybe continue with why you think that, instead of just beating around the bush.
The gameplay can be extremely challenging, but not in a good way.
Bruh, but in your last statement you literally just said that Elden Ring is no different to past Souls titles. So, wouldn't that contradict what you think of the older games? Like, as a fan, do you think they were challenging in a bad way too? God damn, this video is starting off strong.
The only reason it's challenging is because it's more frustrating than challenging.
Oh, but just you wait for what he says about why he thinks it's so frustrating.
And that's mainly because the combat in the game is extremely unresponsive. Moving the main character around feels like moving an old man around. It's kind of like every action you try to do in the game has this strange 1-second delay, and every time you want to do an attack or move or roll or dodge or parry, it just feels like there's a very noticeable delay and disconnect between pressing the button and having the character actually perform the movement.
Nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Bro, oh my fucking god. I've literally never heard this complaint before from any other fans of this game. Like, feel free to prove me wrong, but I've been following the game thoroughly enough that I would have heard about this input delay bullshit. To be fair, it sounds like he might just have a shit setup in some regard, or this could just be a troll moment. Either way, it's incredibly stupid and unfair.
I found the melee combat to be very unsatisfying. For example, when you're fighting against some kind of melee enemy, he's obviously winding up to hit you, and you press block, thinking your character's gonna block when you press the block button. But instead there's like this weird delay, and you end up getting hit in the face.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, it just sounds like you fucking suck at playing the game. Like, twisting this narrative that, oh, there's a delay, herder, and spreading that misinformation is just completely disingenuous.
You have no idea how many times I died in the game, not because I'm bad at the game, but just because the game's not smooth or fluid, and the combat is extremely frustrating.
Wrong.
That is absolutely
Wrong.
proved over and over again.
Wrong.
Now, I like to be mentally challenged in my video games just like any other hardcore gamer does.
Well, man, after listening to this so far, I think you're already there. Especially after I just realized that you couldn't even figure out how to mute the fucking audio of your background footage. Jesus Christ. Like, that is definitely what I would call a special moment.
But when you're constantly losing in the game because of poor gameplay mechanics and poor game design, it just becomes, well, it's not fun anymore.
Well, buddy, I hate to say it, but just get good, because you really haven't sourced these alleged bad mechanics or the poor design.
I honestly don't feel like I'm having fun in the game. When I see enemies or mobs waiting around, I don't look at them with anticipation of having a fun combat exchange. I just think to myself, oh my god, I'm gonna get hit in the face again, through no fault of my own.
Right, it was just the input delay. So, based on this statement alone, am I supposed to take your review seriously?
The AI in the game is also pretty bad and poor. The enemies just kind of stand around circling around you waiting for you to make a move.
Well, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
And this is where I really start to believe that he didn't even play this game, because right now he's being more than just dishonest. Because while the AI have never been groundbreaking in Souls games, the enemies certainly don't act as he's describing. And you don't even need to play the game to know that. Just go look up some gameplay.
I found it so easy to just walk around enemies and sneak up behind them, when it should have been pretty obvious that they could have seen me.
What? How? Why? I have so many questions!
So now the gameplay mechanics are too easy? What the fuck? Like, no, for real, what the fuck am I listening to? Also, for a fan of Souls games, why the fuck would you be expecting any type of stealth mechanics? And I've also not seen any proof that enemies are this stupid in the game either, but okay, go off, queen.
So one of the things that sets Elden Ring apart from the previous Dark Souls games is the fact that it's open world. Now, I'm not really the biggest fan of open world. I feel like it's a very lazy gameplay mechanic that game devs implement when they don't really have any other better ideas.
Bruh, the fuck? Open worlds are arguably one of the most interesting mechanics that can engage with the player, so long as it's handled correctly. This is a complete non-argument. I mean, if you don't like open worlds, then why buy this game? He even compares other open world games later on, so I really don't get his stance here on open worlds.
And unfortunately, the open world in Elden Ring is just not very impressive. It looks quite pretty on a surface level, but then you realize that it's basically just a very empty and barren excuse of an open world. Compared to other open world games such as The Witcher 3, which it is obviously trying to rip off, you can obviously see that it's taken a lot of inspiration from games such as Witcher 3, Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I just feel like The Witcher 3 has done a better job at being a gritty, dark RPG kind of fantasy adventure game than Elden Ring can ever hope to be.
Shit, this take just gave me radiation burns, bruh. Cause Elden Ring is not trying to be The Witcher 3 or Breath of the Wild, and I would hope not. Also, most of what you just said is a straight up lie. The world isn't barren just because it doesn't copy the Witcher style, which also disproves his argument that this game is trying to rip it off. I mean, there's plenty of substance to be had in Elden Ring, so don't let idiots like this tell you otherwise.
The problem with Elden Ring is the fact that the story is very lackluster.
Shut the fuck up! Know your fucking place, trash!
And this is very disappointing when you consider the fact that they got George R.R. Martin, the author behind Game of Thrones, to come up with the story of Elden Ring. You'd think that he would be able to make something that's really interesting. Unfortunately, it just feels like a rip-off clone of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, in some ways I do get some Lord of the Ring vibes, but the fuck do you mean it's like a straight-up rip-off? Like, you sound completely retarded when you say shit like this game ripped off The Witcher 3 or Lord of the Rings. But let's be real, people aren't playing this game for its story, though people probably do like the small bits they do find.
For example, in The Witcher 3,
Yeah, don't care for this story comparison, so skip!
the main character doesn't even talk. He has no personality. And I honestly didn't feel like I cared or wanted to find out about the world in Elden Ring or the characters or what's going on. I just feel like they did a very bad job at hooking the player in to be interested in the story.
Why? Because there's no 10-minute cutscenes with drawn-out dialogue elaborating on everything every 5 minutes. Also, who the fuck cares about the player character talking in a Souls game? Like, what?
Please, touch some grass.
Now, scattered throughout the world of Elden Ring, there are many bosses. There's mini-bosses and there's bigger bosses.
No shit.
And just like how frustrating it is fighting the regular mobs, fighting these bosses is even more frustrating and annoying, mainly because of the size. Because of just how much bigger some of these bosses are than you, the camera just kind of goes crazy and starts spinning and flipping everywhere, and you're frantically trying to dodge and roll out of the way of the boss's attacks. And so many times I got stuck in the scenery, or I got stuck in some corner of a wall, and the characters just didn't really do a very good job at tracking me.
I'm not yielding. I'm not backing down. I'm annoyed.
Wait, didn't you say you were an avid fan of Souls games? So then why are you throwing shade at Elden Ring for its boss sizes when the franchise is notorious for that? But I will say he's not entirely wrong about the camera. I mean, it has been one of the biggest bosses in Souls games after all.
Fighting these bosses is already frustrating enough because you need to memorize the attack patterns.
Yeah, he just rambles some nonsense about the game actually making you learn how to play it, so skip!
I don't really enjoy dying hundreds of times against one boss. I just want to attack it and maybe have a bit of a challenge, but I don't really want to have to be stuck on the same boss until I've memorized every single thing it's going to do.
Again, you claim to be an avid fan of this series, yet you say completely stupid shit like this. Like, dying to enemies and learning how to fight them based on your mistakes is literally the entire point of Souls games. Jesus Christ.
I do not find this kind of gameplay to be enjoyable at all. Now, this wouldn't really be a problem if they had different difficulty modes. There's no easy mode, there's no medium mode, there's no hard mode. You just get one mode, and that is like the default mode. There's no option to make things easier. And as someone who gets really frustrated easily and gives up easily when things are too difficult, I just found myself not really wanting to play the game anymore because I was going to break something.
Got this little anal cream. Yeah. That you can just, put on your asshole. Just put on your asshole if it hurts a little bit. If you're hurting down there, if you're a little offended, you can just rub it on your asshole like that's no problem. This is actually really good cream if you get a really ass hurt. It says Bior on it, meaning you can shove this cream up your ass.
How the fuck are you a fan of these games? Like, this is exactly what I meant earlier about probably being a troll / satire. So, just take everything he says with a grain of salt, because, like, I've not heard any fan of this series whine like such a little bitch about wanting an easy mode, or like nearly punching walls out of frustration. Well, y'all, that is going to do it for this absolutely fantastic YouTube video from the mysterious myth himself, Sacred Hogwash, who I'm not too sure why he even made a gaming-related video, let alone a review to begin with. But, like, seriously though, who the fuck is this guy? But anyways, my personal thoughts. The man is allowed to have his opinion on the franchise. I mean, this isn't some personal attack or anything. Although I did want to call out the outright bullshit and misinformation from this seemingly ignorant review, to which, in all honesty, I'm not sure the reviewer played the game. But anyways guys, that is going to do it for my YouTube video, so I think I'm going to start wrapping things up here. I think I've done my part in roasting this stupid take, and anyone else can feel free to do so as well, you know? But thank you all so much for taking the time to watch this no matter where you are or whatever the fuck you're doing, you know. So big ups for watching it, and especially if you made it this far into the video, y'all are the real ones and I really do appreciate the fuck out of it. And you know, if you liked what you saw, maybe subscribe for some more quality therapy, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.